Hey everyone, welcome to another video on the JayBee
Hey.
and Milly channel. Today we are going to be reacting to episode 5 of the new Velma show, and when I say we, I mean JayBee has seen this before. It is my first impressions. JayBee has done a couple of videos on this already, but this will be 100% my live reaction, and I guess JayBee's reaction to at least seeing some of these things again.
Yeah, absolutely. So please do subscribe, even if you're not a fan of the Velma series, because we do more classic Scooby-Doo content on a weekly basis, at least, including weekly interviews with people that I've worked on all types of Scooby-Doo, from 1969 Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, all the way up until last year's Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo. So there's definitely something for everyone on the channel. I think that's fair to say. So I guess we should get a start and see what you think about this latest episode.
Well, if my friend didn't text me back, I actually was going to die. Because Norville was ghosting me,
Have
and
you
my
ever done
suspicions
that?
had gotten so bad, I couldn't even look at my
Somewhat.
message board without having one.
I'm just struggling to even look at the screen.
It's from the police.
Uh-oh, I just rear-ended a cop.
I'll be back before then.
Oh, that was the Hex Girls poster.
Did you like it?
Yeah. It's been the best part of the episode.
I do love the Hex Girls.
I like that.
You don't need to say female, Velma. You can just say neurologist.
She died in the Crystal Cove Insane Asylum.
Oh, I like Fred, I actually do.
Experiments? Fred, your house was owned
I think Velma's the worst character in her own show.
She needs to read the feminine mystique.
you as is.
She's the most selfish person on planet Earth.
Even more selfish than Fred.
I see.
Yes. That's about as ridiculous as when you first see the outline of the aliens in Alien Invaders.
Oh, that's controversial.
We all know I don't like them.
Sorry. We should have.
I actually heard Meatball was really cool and beautiful.
Well, all we had was Dr.
Oh, I've got no tolerance for that type of thing.
I think oddly, like,
Stop. You could
I actually like Shaggy's storyline now.
back. I literally just died.
It's because Gigi's the goat.
No, I think it's just because Velma's been made to feel like pain.
I want Norval and Gigi to get married, but Gigi's on my hit list.
Sleepover without horny undertones.
Oh God, this is terrible.
Your friends will remember this as the best marching band sleepover ever. Move it, loser!
See, those things, I don't know if they're still in, I've not seen one of those, like, in use for, like, a good 6-7 years.
This is like 14-year-old humour though, where as soon as you say something relating to sex, it's funny because it's not meant to be mentioned.
It's the naughty business.
I'm actually more interested in who Daphne's parents are than who's killing the girls.
It's because Daphne's the best now.
One thing's for certain, Velma isn't.
No wonder I'm attracted to a girl who looks like a little henchman.
I assure you you're not.
Wait, is he tromboner?
Just say no, she's selfish. Please tell me she kicks Velma's butt.
Do we have an ETA on when we can EAT?
God.
To be fair, these are their nerds. They've got no banter, that's the thing.
Take a pill with food.
Contrary to my appearance, I wasn't a nerd at school.
Not rehearsed, sweetie. This is the true story of
This is so stupid.
Who shares a sandwich?
Not her, because she's selfish.
covered up by an Israeli security firm.
No, it's just, I don't...
It's okay. No one's allowed outside right now. I am the mayor. Except for cops.
Cops.
Most a good idea. Guess my house will just get destroyed.
Oh, I hate her.
I told you if you do any more simping for her, we're through.
Yes.
But I do everything around here.
Oh, shut up. She's the most unlikable person in the world. How are two people simping for her?
Going on with you
I wouldn't be simping for Velma. But then again, to me, the people in this show simping for Velma was as bizarre to me as the world simping for the classic Velma. So
No, but you know that that's a result of Cardellini.
I'm not too sure. I think it's a result of therapy being so expensive.
You're not just a better friend than I am. You're a better person.
No,
I give homeless people
Everyone in this show's a better person than she is.
What's a nickel?
American currency, JayBee.
Velma, you could go to jail.
Good.
I'm out past curfew, and I think the movie Serpico is boring. What are you gonna do about that?
Respect it.
It is so stupid, really, isn't it? But
No, I'd say hitting Velma with a car in this instance isn't stupid.
it's my Easter. It's the Easter egg hunt.
Oh, that seemed like a
That was
shorter
quick.
episode.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. That was quite quick,
That
really.
was less painful.
I'd be lying if I said you'll get used to that.
Okay, so I mean, we don't need this to go on terribly long, because of course, whatever, right? We don't need it to go on terribly long. But I guess I'll ask you my usual questions. So you've watched 5 episodes of Velma now. You've got that on your resume. You've got that on your CV.
It's not going on my resume, I assure you.
So how does that stack up compared to the other 4 that you've watched? Although bear in mind that it's been a while since we last did this.
It was better. Yes, it was better.
What was a part that you thought was your favorite, and a part that you thought was your least favorite?
Least favorite is just Velma herself. She's the most unlikable person on planet Earth. She's selfish, she's arrogant, she's just genuinely like every reason that I've always hated Velma. Perhaps there's more truth to it than I ever thought. But yeah, she's just horrible. Like Fred, you kind of get him. He's a bit pathetic, but it's funny. Shaggy is just such a simp. Daphne, such a simp. But at least they're not awful. She's just a terrible person. Like, they've genuinely made a show about the most unlikable character in the show. It's stupid. But it is what it is. Best part? Starting to be the mysteries. Finally. Okay, so couple of things are doing right and wrongs with the mysteries. There's a good amount of intrigue. I was curious about who Daphne's parents were, and I'm curious to some extent about Velma's mum. Weirdly, though, I feel like they've gone too far away from the original mystery, which is the dead girl at the start.
Yeah.
They've almost tried to do too many mysteries, because that's 3. For me, it would have been enough to just wonder who Velma's mum is, solving the case of Velma's mum going missing. We didn't need to have the decapitated, women. It was unnecessary. Yeah.
See, I was just thinking this, and you can say yes or no. I think the show isn't taking itself seriously at all, but from the structure of the story, it's making you feel like it should be. For example, episode of What's New Scooby-Doo, something happens at the start and they're unmasked by the end. Mystery Incorporated's more serious, and so you may get a hint of something at the start and some unmaskings in between, but obviously that final episode is where the big plot's going to be wrapped up, and that's kind of what's happening here, except just big plots that are getting resolved over time. For all maybe people would care less than they already do about this if it was more like What's New. But do you think it would play better if every episode stuff happened and it was a self-contained unmasking within this world?
That would be better. Because there was so many episodes that didn't have any mystery to them at all. There was more episodes than there needed to be, just purely so they could waste time on making sex jokes and drug references and violence references.
I'm so sorry. You just really reminded me about how juvenile this show is.
Yeah,
do you remember
it's
that?
abominable.
Do you remember that phone line that used to be on TV? What was it? 118 118. And you used to be able to text them and just say, "Tell me a fun fact about the sun," or do you remember that? And I remember one time with a group of my friends when I was 10 years old, and we made it this massive dare to get on the landline and ring them and ask them to tell us a sex joke. And I'm laughing at that as like a memory of when I was like 10 years old. And so that's kind of the like this show's humor. Like, oh, tell me a sex
Yeah,
joke.
it's juvenile.
It's so
It's got
yeah.
no substance to it. It's embarrassing. And like, honestly, for all the Casey Kasem reference was like, ooh, it was also very like kind of offended that they've been mentioned in this heap of rubbish. Like, I'm having to refrain from swearing quite substantially.
Well, we
here.
can say crap because the show said
Yeah,
crap.
that wasn't the word I was going for. Like, it's kind of like you don't have the right to kind of mention them because you're actually just kind of ripping apart, humiliating, and taking the mick out of something that they worked really hard on.
It's like, how dare you stand where he stood?
Yeah, it's kind of like you're genuinely messing up that legacy by doing something so destructive with this absolute, I can't not say, this absolute rubbish show.
Rubbish show. I love that. I love that. So it sounds like this was actually. It just sounds like I'm sassing you now. But from what you said prior to that last bit, it sounds like this was your favorite episode. Although that might not be
Second.
saying much. Second favorite episode. Although that's not saying much.
Actually, first, yeah.
What do you want the next episode to focus in on that will make you kind of not get a little bit of hope that they might have some kind of good, satisfying resolution at the end of it?
Do you want to know how this next show would go? In my genuine, like, absolute heart dreams.
Okay, go over it.
We would work out that car crashing into Velma actually killed her, but out of being a good friend, Shaggy teams up with Fred and Daphne to resolve what happened to Velma's mum. That would be my ideal. It's a good premise. Do you know what? I will say this, right? It's a great premise. I like the thought of Velma's mum's gone missing and here's the mystery. But this also isn't feeling that unique to me. Because the feeling that I'm getting from this show is very similar to the Daphne and Velma books. In terms of the mystery, the substance, the content, it's very similar to those books. I could see a huge influence from those books, but they've just adapted it very poorly. Like, they've added in really crappy humour. You can't even call it humour. Like, just really crappy humour.
10-year-olds on the
phone.
Some
bad character development. Like, Velma's an absolute cow. Like, let's be real.
I'm glad I didn't say it.
If anybody went to school with Velma, you genuinely cheer when like one of the bullies beat her up. Like, genuinely, it's the one occasion where you'd be like, kind of warranted.
I would have liked to have gone to school with her though, because then she could have dealt with all the racist jokes, and I would have just like run off to the other side.
I would like to have gone to school with her too, because I've told you a couple of stories where I was never the centre of trouble, but I quite often was an instigator of.
Would you tell
And
her
I'd be
racist
instigating
jokes?
some hella trouble there.
Oh gosh.
Jesus, she's awful.
So we need you in the show. We need to fix the show. We need to fix it. And we need to get Morgan Baden at least some streaming royalties from these episodes.
Do you not get how strong the influence is?
It is like everything from the Daphne and Velma used to be friends.
Yeah,
Now they're like...
missing in Crystal
Yeah.
Cove. The coves of Crystal Cove is where people are going missing, or like where the mystery's happening and stuff like that, which is exactly what happened in her book. Not only that, but it's Velma's family with the mystery, which again, very similar to the Morgan Baden book, where Velma's family had lost their land and that had their history had to be investigated and things like that. The issues are with, there's issues with Daphne's parents. And
Velma was kind of conflicted between, was it Daphne and Fred? There was something going on there. Someone was conflicted. I don't think they were romantic in those books, were they?
They weren't, but can we also just say that this is spoiling Morgan Baden's books. I do apologise. Please go and read it.
Read it, it's good.
This isn't actually where we see the first death in Scooby-Doo. Morgan Baden's book did that first.
You know what? What was the first canonical Scooby-Doo death?
Probably being Scooby Natural. I don't think they ever actually acknowledged death or anything in Scooby before that.
I'm just trying to think. Mystery Incorporated.
But I'm telling you, it's not this. It is Morgan Baden's book.
Because Ed Machine died. Well, spoiler, Ed Machine died. Angel Dynamite snuffed
And
it.
can I just say there's been copyright claims for less?
Well, yeah. Well, she needs that writing credit. And I even think Craig Titley needs writing credit for The Mystery Begins, but that's a whole different issue. So I guess that does it for this reaction. I hope that you enjoyed. Make sure to, and yeah, we'll see you next time.